Hello, and welcome to Feeling This Life. We're a family support podcast that dives deep into the triumphs, challenges, and strategies that are part of the lives of those who care for young children who are blind and low vision. I'm Paige Maynard, and I'm a teacher of the visually impaired and early interventionist at VIPS, Vision Interventions and Parental Support.
I'm Jenny Castanier. I'm the Family Services Coordinator at VIPS. I am the mother of 3 girls, and my youngest has a visual impairment.
And I'm Dr. Cathy Smith, an independent research and educational consultant out of Fort Collins, Colorado, as well as a former early intervention provider for families of young children with visual impairment.
I'm excited to be here for a really full circle moment because I'm with 2 of the very first kids that I ever served, and you guys are almost not kids anymore. I'm here with Addy Clarkson and Hailey Hitner, and I'm so excited for you guys to talk about yourselves and to talk about your friendship. So I'll just start out with letting you tell our listeners a little bit about yourselves.
Hi, my name is Addy Clarkson, Addy for short. I am 13 years old and I am going into 8th grade, and I have a condition called optic nerve hypoplasia, meaning that part of my eye, my optic nerve, is undersized and underdeveloped. In other words, it is too small to do its job, but that doesn't stop me from doing things like using a phone and going to school. And one reason that I have so many triumphs over my visual impairment is because of VIPS, and I met Hailey at VIPS.
Hi everybody, I am Addy's bestie, Hailey Hitner, and I am 14 years old. I have the same eye condition as Addy, and I'm pretty sure she explained all of it. I really like to get good grades in school and watch TV, but I think the best thing that I like to do as a visually impaired kid is, being the oldest out of 3 of my siblings, I like to always make my family proud during events like this.
Well, thanks. We're so glad to have both of you here with us today, and it was really cool just to hear a little bit more about both of you guys, and just seeing you guys here today kind of brings me back in some ways to the first times that I met both of you. And I want to tell you about my earliest memory of you before you tell us your earliest memory of each other. Hailey, the first time I think that I met you, or at least several times, like early on, what you would want to do, and I'm sorry if this is embarrassing, is you would want to sit in my lap and you would hold on to my hands and you would rock back and forth and you would want to sing any song that we would sing together. And that was what, if you could do that all day long, that's exactly what you would do.
That's so cute. Yeah, definitely cute.
And you're such a good singer now, too. I've heard you sing before.
Oh yeah, thank you.
And Addy, the first memory I have of you is, and I think this is just because it's like the first really strong memory. I have memories before this, but you knew every single animal sound that existed. Like you knew a cricket sound. Of course you knew the basics, like a cow and a dog and stuff, but you knew every animal sound for every animal that you wouldn't even know existed or made a sound. So that's what I remember about you whenever you were little. And I'm curious what you guys remember of your first memories of each other.
So I probably met Hailey before this memory, but my first memory of Hailey was when we were in our last year of preschool, and we had this awesome teacher, Miss Ashley. Now, I did have some interactions with Hailey there, but my most memorable thing that involved Hailey in my life in that time was we would be sitting in the lunchroom and Hailey would scream bloody murder if she did not get to eat her crackers.
I love that. I love my crackers when I was little.
Literally, I would be in the lunchroom and all I could hear is crackers.
So are you still that big of a fan of crackers?
Yeah. And I'm also really into chips.
Me too. Well, Hailey, what's your first memory of Addy?
Well, I remember so we were doing this little thing that we used to do every day with Miss Ashley. She would ask us what our name was, when's her birthday, and I remember Miss Addy getting called on, and I remember Addy saying, introducing herself in the cutest way.
Aww. Well, so you guys went to preschool at Vips, and then you graduated. You were in Miss Ashley's class, the last year that you all were here?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I think so.
Okay, so then you transitioned on later into school, and then you became closer friends. So what was it that happened that made you all consider yourselves to be friends?
We were in our first grade, and our gym teacher, Mr. Sosha, teased us and teased us and teased us.
The most popular one he do was lunchboxes.
Yeah.
Okay, lunchboxes. Tell us about this. What are you getting teased about friends in first grade?
He's always telling us, he's teasing us, that he wants to steal our lunchboxes.
And he would call us different names. He would call me Agatha and
I'd be
Helga.
Helga.
And so what happened was that Hailey was wearing glitter on her shirt.
And Addy was wearing glitter on her shorts.
So we were calling each other the
Glitter Girls.
Oh, I love
And
it.
ever since we've kind of become the dynamic duo.
And how often do you try to match your clothes now?
Not really often.
Oh, okay.
Because we know we can be best friends even without all the glitter.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. That's the way. Okay, so you guys are friends. You're the glitter girls, even though you don't always have to match. Tell us about the most fun that you've had together and what you like to do together.
So there was one time, actually there were 2 times, that it was for my 9th and 10th birthday that Hailey came over along with 2 of some family members, Reagan and Harper, and they would spend the night.
And I would always. I think another time that I loved that we had the most fun was a couple of times we went to House Boom, and the other time for just a few of my birthdays. Unfortunately, I'm not really sure if Addy was able to come to my 14th birthday because on the actual day of my 14th birthday, I was sick.
Aww. Well, that was a no fun birthday. Okay, what about your other birthdays that she was able to come?
Yes, those birthdays were fun. Really fun.
Tell me any other fun stories about you guys doing friends together.
Well, like I said, one time we both went to House of Boom, and we were just really excited because whenever I heard that we were going to, that Addy was going to be there, I was always looking forward to that day.
Tell us about House of Boom. For anybody that doesn't know, what do you get to do at House of Boom?
So House of Boom is this really fun place where it's kind of an indoor trampoline park. So it's really fun.
You get a foam pit, you get a bunch of platforms you can jump off into a foam pit. I don't like to do those personally.
Me neither.
And
I am usually not the bravest person in the world when I have to do that because my Aunt Emmy wanted me to that's my dad's sister, by the way, guys. My Aunt Emmy wanted me to jump onto this really big pillow thing, and I don't know if it was a thingamabobber. I don't know. I just knew that I had to I don't know if I had to jump or roll, but I had to land on this big soft cushiony pillow thingamabobber.
So it's a lot of trampolines,
Foam
foam pits, things
There's
to jump
also
on.
a zip line.
Oh, a zip line. Okay. Did you zip line together when you were there?
No.
Oh,
Like,
so too scary or what?
probably just too scary.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like clinging for my life. But that's kind of strange because, like, when my dad takes me, like, when my mom and dad take me to an amusement park like Kentucky Kingdom or Kings Island, I just go with Dad and ride all the biggest roller coasters in the park.
Oh, wow.
What did it feel like being on a roller coaster? Because I've never been on it.
It feels good actually, but it can be scary sometimes simply because I'm blind. So like when I'm waiting in line, I don't know what on earth this ride is going to do. And like I don't know when it's gonna drop, when it's gonna go upside down, when it's gonna go backwards. When
I
it's
hope
gonna
it doesn't go upside
sideways.
down.
Yeah,
That makes some people sick.
yeah, but I can do the roller coasters, but I don't know why I can't just jump off those things at House of Boom or Defy now.
What do you think would happen if you went on a roller coaster together?
I don't know. I would probably.
Hailey would probably get sick.
Yeah,
Do you think you would
probably.
get sick?
I feel like if I were to go on a roller coaster ride that like went upside down, I would just be like, I think I'm gonna be sick.
So you're gonna stick to House of Boom for now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How have you all helped each other before? Whether it be like something at school or just something that friends help each other with. How have you helped each other before?
Well, this is a funny story. So I, for some reason, have this problem where I just am afraid of random people, like, just because I am. And one of those people that I just happen to be afraid of, she is much, much, much younger than us. And I heard that she bit a close friend of my sister.
Oh, I did not know that.
So I was just terrified of her,
Oh.
and I was just felt like I was cursed and stuck that way for life. When all of a sudden, Hailey just comes and says, "Hi," and just for monkey see, monkey do, I say hi, and I just realize, hey, I'm talking to the person I'm afraid of, and then all of a sudden my mind just feels like I'm about to burst through the roof and float out of the school and go all the way to outer space.
I hope you do not go out there without a spacesuit, because I watched the video. If you go to space without a spacesuit, you only have 15 seconds to get back to where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, stay on Earth, but yes.
Stay on Earth.
My next question is, what is it like to be blind and have a friend who is also blind?
So, like, it's not like wearing a blindfold. It's like, imagine having an invisible blindfold that just blocks out all your sight and you can't take it off. And I have a friend that's blind. Well, I know that they're not going to harass me or make fun of me because of my blindness.
I feel the same way.
Just make it a big deal that I'm blind.
Yeah. I can't even see who's in front of me while I'm using my cane or if I'm at the grocery store. I feel like that it is like a mirror. Like if I'm blind, then they're blind. And I just feel like it's a big, wonderful reflection on yourself, and that feels amazing to me.
So it sounds like the other person understands some of the things that are part of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah?
When the idea of me being blind kind of got to me, I didn't even know that I was blind, actually. Because how can I tell if I can't see? And I just am glad I am not the only teen girl in 8th grade that has to just not have sight. And me and Hailey have used many adaptations and accommodations, one of them being screen readers. Like if you're on your phone or a tablet or like an iPad.
Or like a computer.
Like basically it will, a voice, a computerized voice will read anything that is displayed on your screen. So like if you type something on a computer, you will hear whatever letter you typed. I actually remember practicing to use a screen reader at Wits a little bit.
Yeah, we did. I don't know if you remember it. In our classroom, we used the screen reader a little bit on the laptop. Do you remember that?
You would let us hear you using it to like pull up things that we would be doing. So, and now I kind of realized that was just preparation for when we would get older. I remember I would spell Ariel on the computer and listen to it.
I remember that too. Haley, what about you? When's the first time that you used a screen reader?
I think the first time that I remember using a screen reader was so it was still the pandemic, stuff like that, and we had to use NTI. And I had this computer where I had to have a screen reader on, and my mom would always help me get to where I was supposed to be, and like it would say like connecting or Miss Patty joined the call or somebody. I remember being helped by the screen reader, and I know how to work a Fire TV remote. I know how to work a dish remote, and I know how to use a Roku TV, but that TV is a very, very special kind of TV because it has a screen reader just for us blind people.
Well, yay, accessibility. I know some people that have Roku that it is voice activated, and they really like using it like that. So how do you do it?
I actually have a voice remote from a Roku TV, and my screen reader tells me what pops on the screen. When I find search results, they say what pops up on the screen, and whichever one that I want to watch, I just click on it, and then I just watch it.
Well, sounds great. My next question is it different to be friends with someone who is sighted than it is to be friends with someone who's blind?
I would think not, because to me, friends are just friends. There's no difference when you're just friends, because to me, just friends are just friends.
Friends are friends are friends.
Friends are friends are friends, friends, so on and so forth.
I love that. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You're just friends with who you're friends with. The last thing I want to ask you all is a question about parents. We have a lot of parents who hope that their little ones grow up to be like both of you and are able to have good friends that are both blind and sighted. So what advice would you give to moms and dads and grandparents and caregivers and other family members about making friends?
I would have a parent tell their kids that they shouldn't have to be afraid to talk to someone that they want to know more about, and pretty soon they're going to be able to get to know each other, and then just like that, you're friends.
Love that.
And my piece of advice was teach your kids that just because someone questions you or is curious about you, like, oh, why are you carrying the stick? Or, oh, why is your computer talking? Or, oh, why is this and this and this? Or, how do you do this and this and this? It's not necessarily criticism, but seeing a blind person to them is like if they existed seeing a unicorn. Like, you've never seen a unicorn or any kind of magical creature, so if you did see some kind of magical creature, you would want to know everything about it. Like, does it use a magic wand, or where does it live? So just teach your kids to expect sighted kids and even adults to be curious about you and how you do things.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you both so much for joining me today. I can't wait for our listeners to be able to hear your interview and just enjoy being with you guys as much as I have today. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh, they were so adorable.
I just loved that. So fun.
It was so much fun to interview them. It was just such a cool experience to think about what it was like to work with them when they were toddlers and preschoolers, and then now as young ladies. It was just interesting to think about those little glimmers of their personalities that I saw whenever they were really young, you know, as they were developing that. And now that they're these more grown-up young women, that all of those things, you know, now have kind of come to fruition. And it's like, oh my goodness, you guys are like individual people who have your likes and your dislikes and, you know, all of your individualities. So I think that was just so cool. And it was just a really full circle moment for me. And it was one of those moments I think was just really rewarding to see that all of that work that they put in and that we put in when they were very young now is, you know, they're just doing great. So it was really great to see that. So what were your all's favorite parts of the interview?
I loved when they talked about the magical unicorn, and how, you know, of course someone's going to look at you, because if there was a magical unicorn, they would look at that. And I just thought that was great. And I loved like their perspective on that, because you always talk about, even if it's in the positive light, the differences of someone. But I've never thought of it like, oh, you know, this isn't different. Like, you are so special. You're a magical unicorn. And like,
I know,
want to use
right? Yeah, can't we do that now? Can we all use that for ourselves?
We all need to remind ourselves we are magical unicorns. But I would love that with Hannah.
People are looking at that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very positive perspective, I think. My favorite part is when you asked them, Paige, you know, about the difference between having friends with a visual impairment and friends without, and they said, but they're just friends. It's not different. Oh my gosh. So here's a plea to all the parents out there. Please encourage your children to think that way. It's just so sweet, and that's what we want to hear, right? I think about how maybe this means that inclusion is working, right? What do you think, Jenny?
Yeah, I think so. I wonder if you asked someone that 40 years ago if they would have the same answer, because I feel like there's so many more opportunities now for kids to interact, and it's just more accepted. And, you know, not shut away or, you know, out of school or anything like that, but just normal part of the community. And so that really gave me a lot of hope, like as a parent, but also like how far the field has come and how far just like as a society, like the Disabilities Act and all that, like all the changes that's brought about. So that was really exciting to me, because I did expect them to say that they were best friends because of that, and they're better friends because of that. So
yeah, I expected that too.
Yeah, me too. I was the one doing the interview, and it really surprised me, and I think it was really heartwarming to be reminded by middle school aged girls that friends are friends. Yeah. And I think it's a lesson that every single person can learn regardless of your background or your age. And I think that was a big encouragement to me that they shared.
Yeah, they're just kids, right? So yes, they have something different about them that makes them a magical unicorn. They have a visual impairment, but they're just kids. And we need to step back and think about that more, because they all have different fears and anxieties and pleasures and things that they like to do and food that they like to eat. But the bottom line is they're just kids. And I like your comment, Jenny, about how far the field has come. I think we forget sometimes when we talk about inclusion, we think about it to only benefit people who have disabilities, and that's not true. The research actually shows that some of the major benefits is that those of us without disabilities are more comfortable and learn about people who do have disabilities, because they're just part of society. So inclusion goes both ways. And it is a worthwhile task, because then we get young ladies who say, friends are just friends, which is wonderful.
Do you have any research that you've looked up about any of those things?
I do. There was actually a couple of articles, and of course there's nothing about young children because there never is. But there were a couple of studies that were done talking to adults with visual impairment. And kind of the background is there is some research that shows that just in general, people with visual impairment are at greater risk to have depression or an eating disorder even. And so what are some of the studies were about what are some of those factors that can mitigate that or can help that not happen? And one of the features is that friends are considered a social support. So they were kind of measuring social supports that individuals with visual impairment have. One of the things that they learned is that it's often easier for children who have visual impairment from the very beginning in infancy. So the children that we work with to not be as affected, to not have these things. So if you lose your vision as you get older, you're more likely to have some of these concerns. And these social supports also help individuals cope with stress. So having friends, like our two little guests this month, they're gonna be able to cope with stress better than people who don't have friends.
And they even talked about that in their interview, where there was a stressful situation with another child and the other one encouraged her, and that kind of helped that. So, yeah, these
are the things that friends do that we don't think about. Some of the kind of interesting tidbits I pulled out is they did learn that having a lack of an intimate confidant can lead to depression, especially in women. So more so in women than in men. They didn't really say why. Obviously, we need more than 2 studies. And another thing that's a great piece of information is the number of friends you have does not matter. It's all about the quality of your friendships. So just having one really good friend can make a huge difference in what your social supports are. And then one other piece was if you are an adult and visually impaired and living on your own, 1 visit a month from an individual who is considered a good friend is enough to kind of keep at bay those depressions and other things. So that's nice to know. So just know if you're somebody out there who's a really good friend with someone who has a visual impairment, all you have to do is go see them once a month and you'll make a difference. Hopefully you'll do it more than that. But it's nice to know that there's it really makes a difference. So the fact that they have such a good friendship is going to help them as they get older. And it's just important to have friends.
Yeah, I agree. And I think those are things that, we can all remember that, I need to remind myself and tell my girls, it's not about getting invited to everything, doing everything. It's that one actual really good friend that is what matters. And, you need to pour yourself into that relationship too, whether it is going to visit somebody or what, it goes both ways. And, it is really important. And studies show that.
Yeah.
I love that idea that you don't have to be popular. So your kid doesn't have to be the popular kid to have good mental health and to have kind of a good self-image. It really is about that quality of friendship. So I think that for me is very encouraging as I'm encouraging other families. So I also kind of wonder, we might not maybe know this until there's more research, but how this might impact the way that our families, build that community with other families. Do you think maybe just maybe just a play date once a month, or reaching out to your friend who maybe has a child with similar needs as yours does. Do we think that maybe could be an extension of this?
I think definitely. I mean, I think anytime that you can kind of break up your almost like a mundane routine where you're stressed and in it and not thinking about other things, and then you spend time with other people, it kind of puts things into a different perspective. And I mean, if you're like me, and you probably don't actually want to go, but if you force yourself to go, you're going to be so glad that you did, and that it really makes a big difference in your life.
Yeah, what a great way to kind of get out of yourself and give your young children opportunities to make friends, like birthday parties. You know, I think I have talked with some parents in the past who are a little nervous about having their child to go to a birthday party because it might be overwhelming from a sensory point, but it's okay for you to go with them and help them. And that's how kids make friends, right? Is doing play dates and going to birthday parties. So I think it's worth the effort.
And I think it's okay too if it's a situation where you try and you have to leave. I mean, that's a learning experience too for, everyone. Like just this weekend, one of my girl's best friends, her little brother, gets very overwhelmed with, sensory things. And we went to a play and he left pretty much like 15 minutes into it. And the girls completely understood, like it wasn't even a conversation that we had to have because they were so used to him. Like they even said at the beginning, hey, did you talk to so-and-so's mom? And if her brother feels like he can't stay, can we take her home so she can stay? And like they really understood or have seemed to understand it's Hannah has the vision thing, so she's going to sit at the play with her monocular. But her friend's brother is the sensory thing, and he may have to leave. And I think that's okay, because I know so many times people are like, well, I don't want to go because I don't want to have to leave, or I don't want to have to do things differently.
Yeah,
I say
I
just
agree.
do it.
I agree. That sounds great. Well, this was a really fun experience, and thanks for sharing your past students with us, Paige. And hopefully we'll get to talk to more young ladies or young gentlemen who have grown up together and learn about their community and their perspective.
Thank you so much for listening to Feeling This Life. Did you know that this podcast is part of a research study? By filling out the survey in the show notes, you can help our community learn more about how podcasts impact those who care for children who are blind and low vision. If you'd like to support us in making more episodes of Feeling This Life, look for the donation link in the show notes. The show notes include links to resources related to today's episode and ways to get in contact with us. Please join us again next time for another episode of Feeling This Life.